You have two choices for sermon today. The cover says faith for the post-religious. The inside says faith of the post-religious. And I like what Gandhi said. I found that quote, faith is not something to grasp, it's a state to grow into. But I have a problem. Could we be wrong? Could we be wrong? Maybe the imperialists are right. What if we are wrong? What if the forces of reaction and authoritarianism are right? Well, look at the evidence. Look at what the last 500, 600, 700 years have brought. After World War II, we went to San Francisco. We crafted a Universal Declaration of Human Rights. We looked to a new possibility and a new potential. My mother and others had been a part of conquering the theory of the atom bomb. We had the power of God's in our hands, and we set up a vision of the world where there would be peace and cooperation and plenty, and justice and democracy and human rights would rule over the lands. And where are we today? Maybe we're wrong. Look on the back of your order of service. Look at the 7 principles of the Unitarian Universalist Association. Maybe that's poppycock. Maybe that's ridiculous pipe dreams of some knee-jerk liberals who don't know the reality. Maybe it just is eat dog, fight, violence, and subjugation. Maybe it is someone in a robe, prettier than this one, dictating to the world how they ought to be. Maybe you haven't given enough. Maybe you haven't sacrificed enough. Maybe you haven't kowtowed enough to the powers that be. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe the faith for the post-religious, those who've come away from all of that crap, is to say, well, we haven't got it right yet. We are still working on it. Human beings are terrible disappointments. Look at the choices we make. Look at the standards of culture we ascribe to. Look at the values that we invest in. How's public education going for us? How's health care going for all people? How's our taxes being applied to innovative ways of transportation and information? How is it with the world right now, we as humanists, as scientists, as rationalists directing it? Now see, the premise of my ideas this morning when I started was to outline you how we're post-religious. How that now the church, Billy Graham, the Pope, whoever, they are not really authorities in our life anymore. They don't express to the culture how things ought to be. And as I looked at it closer and I studied a little bit more thinking about it, that's never been the way. Religious folks have always been in the minority, pushing against a barbarism that is of human nature. And we come on the back of this order of service and we talk about the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Ha! I doubt that. I've known some real trash, haven't you? I'm really nearly serious here. These ideals, these principles smack in the face of a lot of reality. Well, see, faith is about that. Faith is about looking at possibilities and potentials beyond what you see. It's not about how things are. Oh, yeah. We have robber barons, we have thieves, we have people in $2,000, $3,000 suits that have 4 or 5 homes that are as mean as mercenaries as those chiefs in the deserts and the hideaways of the world that perpetrate violence close at hand, where those in the $200, $2,000 suits do violence far and distant from their hands. The reality of faith for the 21st century, faith for a post-religious world where somewhere we thought there was authorities that were making things happen for us. Grow up. What we've learned since World War II is that it's in our hands. And because it's in our hands, we're failing. We're failing because we're separated from one from another in ideals that don't serve everyone's needs. We have been in the West explorers of the East for over 1,000 years. Now, how in the world, if anyone understands history and human nature, can we not expect some reaction from that? We have been a part, our culture's been a part of villainy. We have to deal with that legacy, and we have to find ways to get out of that. Well, Doak, what does that have to do with religious faith or spirituality or anything we have to do with our lives? I think most of us in this room carry around a lot of guilt, a lot of sense of responsibility, a lot of hurt because of the senselessness in life and the violence and the stupidity that human beings get involved in. We see the hurt and pain around us, and we feel helpless to deal with it. We don't know where to find a place to be a healing agent, to be a servant of the good, to be about changing things for the better. Because in many ways we are a part of that problem. We don't understand that life has its long, long arc, as Dr. King talked about. And the arc of history is toward justice and healing if we can stay with the ideals. So the faith for us, the hope for us, for folks who moved out of the authorities, who have said, just follow these dictates, just go by these rules, just do these things in faithfulness, give me your 10%, give me your dedication, give me your time, and we will separate you from the soiled and the unsaved, and you will be okay. We come to the experience saying, hey, we're all in this together. Whatever floats your boat is fine. Whatever raises your flag is fine, but understand that you are accountable to me and I'm accountable to you for your behavior. If it doesn't serve the good of all of us and the health of all of us, then we have issues. We have problems. We have to talk. What do you want to do? You want to kill us both? Does that serve your God? Does that serve your children? Does that serve your legacy? We have to find ways and values that touch everyone on this globe. That's our challenge. That's what faith looks like. How do we ascribe to that? How do we pull that out of the world? How do we pull it out of ourselves? Well, we do it with imagination. We do it with hope. We do it with perseverance, and we do it with dedication. I know that the only thing that sustains, I remember about every day my mom and dad. My dad would have been 90 years old today. He died in 1976. I'm nearly 15 years older than he was when he died. But I remember his love. That's what's of value to me. I don't have his stuff, but I have his love. Now, if that not be the common denominator in human life, then, well, let's close it all down and go have a party. We are holders of that light. We are holders and heirs to a vision of all people being capable of working out their life, dealing with their children, dealing with faith, and finding ways to be good and purposeful in the world, to find meaning in our love, to find meaning in our creativity, to find meaning in our response to what challenges us. It's about laughter, it's about fun, it's about an expression of the wonder around us. But it's not an expression of making everyone the same and judging everyone from our deficiencies or our fears. I don't care who anyone sleeps with. What I care about is how you treat me, how you treat your brothers and sisters in the world, how you treat this fragile planet we're on, how we find ways to be less aggressive in our use of finite resources, how we respond. That's what human beings have as their treasure. That's what they have in their toolkit. That's what they have in their personalities, a creative ability to respond to new situations. If the old ways don't work, which we were taught they didn't, because no king, no ruler, no religion can turn us back from our barbarism, except us. No rule will change us. No preachers will misdirect us or redirect us. Human beings have to come to the conclusion that we're all in this together. We're all on this blue boat. We're all about a life of cooperation and interaction that the world depends on. Life depends on it. With that atom bomb and Oak Ridge and Los Alamos, all of those discoveries, we found out we are the trained monkeys and the talented animals that can end life as we know it. We killed God a long time ago. There are no rescue ships coming for us. We're here. What are we going to do with that? Now, we can hide in creeds. We can hide in inherited religions. We can hide in our hedonism. We can spend all the money, make all the money, use all the people we want to. We can have a lot of fun. And then 70, 80 years, we're just flipped away like everyone else. The candle goes out and we're gone. The challenge of people who care, the challenges and opportunities because you are here, is to be encouraged and be affirmed that there's a different way to live. There's a kinder way to live. There's a sensible way to live. There's a wholesome way to live. There's a good way to live. And that is embracing our problems, embracing our animal, but also learning the angels of our nature, of expressing love and charity and kindness, of seeing not in Rodolfo a pain in the butt to get off this grounds, but someone to embrace and give him an expression of what America and human beings and Unitarian Universalists look like. Not to give him something, but to encourage his initiative. See, stuff that's close at hand. It's easy to pontificate in in discussions of great ideas, but when someone comes up to you and pulls on your sleeve and says, "I'm here, what can I do?" You're called to a response. The faith for the post-religious era, the faith for the time when the authorities don't know anymore, or they don't matter. The president talks to us the other night, 34 million people listened, and it doesn't matter. We're running a war for 13 years around the world. We don't even get a bill for it, and it doesn't matter. And we're whistling through the cemetery, and many of us are just going, where in the hell are we going with all this? What are our children and grandchildren going to be involved in? What are they going to have to face? Can we go back to shore? Can we find a safe way through this? There is only through it, folks. And that is waking up, understanding we're agents of good or neglect. We're agents of possibilities or broken promises. We're agents of hope or despair. I wish Jesus would come back. I'd give him a job. Clean this mess up. But it's me and you and people like us around the world who care. And I'm not trying to single us out as special. We are cursed because we care. We see it. Well, I want us to go away from this place every week encouraged that it's okay. We're in the fight. We're in the struggle. We're about our lives as best we can engage it. The internal life that torments many of us with depression, with doubt, with hurt, with loss. We're just trying to struggle to get up every morning and keep going. To those of us who have a global perspective and just hurt with the pain of the world because it looks so senseless. It looks so inhumane. It looks so desperate. It looks so wrong. Henry David Thoreau is credited with the line that most people live just lives of quiet desperation. I think most people today live lives of noisy desperation. It just comes down on us. It comes from our children. It comes from our inner voices saying we need to be doing this, we need to be doing that. It's not about guarantees, folks. It's about faith. It's about saying those 7 principles, looking at them, looking at the fallacy of them, but also looking at the promise of them. Because what it says with our energy and our dedication and our hope and our hard work, we can make things better. We can make things matter. We do not have to rely on a God somewhere. We rely on the forces of life and nature to make it right. I had a friend tell me, bless his heart, a long time ago, it was a wonderful line that sort of sticks with you. Everything tends toward growth. Life will out without us or with us. The decision is still out there whether we're parasites or co-creators. Unitarian Universalists in our faith perspective says we're co-creators. We can help guide this energy, this existence, we peoples into a better world. Our forebears have been those who said no slavery. Our forebears have said pay people fair. Our forebears said give women a chance, they're part of us. Our forebears and present says gay and lesbian people are okay people, get over it. Life is about the wholeness and the wholesomeness that we can find cooperating with our differences. Humanity and creation is diverse. It's an energizing and energetic codependency where everything matters and everything is of a critical part. You pull one part out, you hurt the whole life. You bring toxicity to the system, it affects the system. We're to a point in our maturity as human beings that it seems that only violence is the force we refer to. How many peace talks are there? How many people are talking about our brothers and sisters around the world? We're fighting terror. Who created terror? What did the Europeans do when they landed in Cuba? What did they do when they came to the New World? What did they do to my Cherokee ancestors and your Indian people? Terrorism is a thing of the human heart. It's not a political stance. It's informed and it's inspired by fear, that which is other is different from me, so thus I should be afraid. Maybe that's a brother and sister I haven't met yet that's been somewhere else. Faith brings us to that point. Is it sure? Is it harmless? Is it without fear? Is it without risk? Of course not. It's what life calls us to. We can hide in our forts. We can build our armaments. We can have our bombs. And we can destroy life. And we can make it a very meager thing. Or we can dance some and sing some and embrace the otherness of life with a joy that tells us we are a part of something magical and not something of dread. The faith for the post-religious period, the faith for our times, is one of hopefulness and loving kindness and creativity. As long as we can complain, we got hope. As long as we can see the problems, we have a possibility. When we become complacent, when it becomes, oh, well, that's the way it is, we've had it always, then we've lost some bit of our humanity. Because at some point we need to be righteous. At some point we need to say, let's not do this way anymore. Let's not send our kids off anymore. Let's not buy the Wall Street and the marketing folks' junk anymore. Let's not wave flags and put people separate from patriotic, non-patriotic. Let's just put ourselves as human beings that care about our fellow human beings in a world that's strange and scary. Let's talk about new ways of engaging crops and productivity and usefulness in the world. Let's quit separating ourselves from one another. And when we go to Hardee's or McDonald's or any restaurant, any place we see, rather than seeing someone who is a servant of ours or a hired hand, let's just see someone other. If we could pull that off, if we could live that consistently and with some dedication, it might just work. You show me what is, if it isn't that. If it isn't our humanity reaching out to the rest of humanity to say, let's be in this journey together. Let's love as much as we can, and let's see how in the world we can fix this mess. Can you give up that? I think I can give up this. Can you figure out a way to work that angle? Maybe I can work this angle. Is anybody talking about that? No, we're just raising funds. We're just raising money for run politicians. What do they do with that money? No one votes. Think about it. Where's it going? It's going to experts to tell them how to get people not to vote so they can get reelected by the few that do vote. It's amazing. Enough of that. I'm going down the wrong trail here. If you're not getting the love you want, check on the love you're giving. If you're not getting the life you want, check on the life you're living. If you're not getting the response you want in life, see what choices you're making that might be different that can make that happen. I'm not saying forget who you are. I'm saying be authentically yourself, but understanding you're talking and you're engaging with other people the same way. It's about respect. It's about hope. It's about a faith that we can grow into, not something we discover. I'm glad we're about it together, and I know that these ideas, they may not be true, they may not be golden, and they may not work, but I don't see anything any better on the horizon. The inherent worth and dignity of every person. Oh me, do I have to stretch my personality and my love that far? Justice and equity and compassion for human relations. Yeah, but some people need what they get. No, I don't want to do that. Acceptance of one another and encouragement of spiritual growth in our congregations. Yeah, but some of us are just silly. We shouldn't believe that crap. A free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Oh yeah, as long as I'm telling you what to search for. Yeah, the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregation and society at large. 51% doesn't make a majority. Yes, I guess it does. Oh well. Let's divide ourselves up and say I'm right and you're wrong. That'll work, yeah. That goes real far. I've seen how that works in families, yeah. The goal of a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. I don't know, I may have to give up something. That person may set as good as me at some place. Respect for the interdependent web of existence of which we are part. Yeah, but I like being cool and warm. I don't know whether you got the idea. Faith is moving beyond what we see as the present to what's possible and seeing ourselves as agents of making that happen. And happy, creative, dedicated co-creators. May it be so. Love is the promise. Love is the expression of the fact that I will relate to you and be with you as I would like you to relate and be with me. I will hold you special in my heart. I will see in you an extension of myself, and I will cherish you as I cherish myself. That's good stuff. And that stuff will sustain us and can possibly save us. If we can see it as a universal, if we can see it as an ethic, if we can see it as a theology. It's not about gods, it's not about heavens, it's not about hells. It's about the requirement of what it means to be a human being in the world of such close proximity and such limited resources. Be of love and in love, friends. And let's close together with our closing chant.